Hey everybody, I'm going to talk about mortgages for crypto natives today. I'm with PWN or OWN. It's basically up to you on how do you decide to pronounce it. We just want you to type it. We don't really care how you say it. My name is Josef. You can find me on Twitter as Josef J _. So let's dive into it. So what I'll be mumbling about today. First, I'm going to try to kind of cast a definition of what is it to be a crypto native. What does it mean? Who are crypto natives? And very likely, like those are sitting here in this room. Then I want to talk about gatekeeping and kind of how like DeFi natives or crypto natives and people at this conference are kind of like interacting with the traditional finance system and like with banks, and how easy or hard it is for these people to kind of like dive into those like traditional structures, especially like in the context of getting a mortgage, you know, like living an adult life. Not many of us do that. So yeah, then I want to talk about like how can you actually bridge it? How can you like get into those like financial instruments if you're a crypto native? And I also want to introduce you to Pawn and actually what we are building, and kind of tell you something about our mission. So what is it to be a crypto native? How many of you in this room consider yourself to be crypto natives? It's not many still. How many of you are like working with a DAO or being paid from a DAO, not really having traditional contract? That's like a very tiny bit of people, right? How many of you would like to quit your current job or contract and just like work with the DAO? Like, let's say it's like super easy to do that. You can just like make the decision and actually switch. Is there anyone who would like cancel their employment and just start working with the DAO? There are a few, but it's definitely like more people who actually want to make the step than that already made it. And I'm certain there are like people like in this room at this conference who has actually made the step already. But yeah, so that's, you know, if you kind of like mess around with DAOs and like you're having your savings in DeFi, you're being a good yield farmer, you're casually collecting NFTs, like who from the room is playing this game with X? Like a whole lot more. I mean, like everybody that I know. Oh yeah, please. Thank you. I'll ask you like gradually, like several times through this presentation. So yeah, that's a crypto native thing, right? Like you wouldn't just like give this to a casually to like a person and like ask you to scan it and collect it. You know, if you're like messing with these technologies, if you have more money in crypto than in your bank account, then you're very likely crypto native. And I'm very certain there's a lot of people in here. Because like I already used a whole bunch of buzzwords. There is like few more if you're playing like buzzword bingo, ICOs, blockchains, drones, AI. Psychedelics, of course. We don't do all of that. We don't do any of that actually. Or maybe the blockchain part. Maybe psychedelics sometimes. But yeah, if anyone had a bingo, let me know. You'll get a PO-up. So being a crypto native, you're pretty much like falling into this group of being hated by the banks. If you're a crypto native and you come to a bank and like ask them to provide you with like any of the traditional services, like the non-crypto natives, the people that, you know, have a job, work at a company like 9 to 5, have an employee contract, are getting their salary put into their bank account, like those are good guys. But if you're a crypto native, you are hated. Like you are not getting any of that. You know, Bitcoin has this meme, like be your own bank, but well, banks actually don't just like provide custody for money or assets. They also provide like a whole bunch of services such as like loans and mortgages that already influence the markets quite a lot. And if you're not in that group, well, sorry. But for them, we are the outcasts, right? Like we are criminals, we are the apes, we are degens. And quite funnily, like 2 hours ago, I had a call from my friend. And he told me that he just like spoke to a guy from one of the large like Central European banks, and told me that like if they find out that you actually hold crypto, if you even have a bank account with them, they will decrease your credit score because you're very likely a criminal or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I have a bad news for them. This is only going to get worse. I mean, like the generations to come, like Gen Z, millennials, like these folks will generate wealth in digital assets, and those assets will be based on cryptocurrencies, on blockchains, and well, there's very little TARTFI can do about it. So, but still, like they have some useful services, and what if we actually wanted to use or tap into some of those services that banks provide? So why would I want to get a mortgage? Well, there's several reasons for that, right? Well, maybe some of you are like getting mortgages, maybe some of you are thinking about it, but well, life happens. You know, sometimes you just need to get a house because, well, life happens. If you're not a crypto millionaire, if you just entered the space, or if you shorted Cardano too soon, like me, well, you're not a millionaire, right? So you still have to get a loan in order to get your hands on real estate, on actually some certainty, some like hedge against like this volatile like crypto thing that we are messing up with. But also like there can be other pragmatic reasons, like maybe you just don't want to like sell crypto, you don't want to lose the exposure, but you still want to have access to the same service as like 70% of the real estate purchasers do, because, well, mortgages that are provided by traditional institutions are kind of not crippling, but definitely influencing the real estate market, because, you know, if it's easy to get financing, the prices will skyrocket. If you're out of the group, well, sorry for you. So, well, everybody gets a mortgage. Why shouldn't you? So let's talk about like how you can actually get a mortgage if you are a crypto native. If you are not one of those people that, you know, the bank would kind of like to see be their client because you're a law-abiding citizen and you don't mess around with things that they don't understand. Let's first mention some non-options, because like those certainly, you know, popped up in your heads. So, well, one way, yeah, you can have a friend, you have family, you know. First of all, these are not instructions, right? I'm just like going over options. So you can use someone else's track record. You can use someone else's credit score and like, you know, make a deal with a friend. Maybe they will get a mortgage because they are not these like crypto folks, but they will get it for you. A lot of people do that through their parents, whatnot, or like family members. So you can do that as well. But yeah, you can also decide to like return your cyberpunk ID and like quit crypto altogether and just like get a regular job and say, well, I tried. Now I actually, you know, have a family. I wanna have a roof. So I'll comply. You can also sell your stash, but very likely you don't want to do it. You don't want to have to make the choice, because that 70% of other people, they don't have to make a choice. They don't have to sell their stock. They can just get mortgage like right away. So what are the options? The option one, comply. You can like work out a credit score. You can just like sell a portion of your crypto or collateralize your crypto, get like a few $1,000s each month and send it to your bank account. Do it consistently over a year, and well, you know, they will like you. They'll be fine like giving you a mortgage. You can also get like a employment abroad, and the further away you actually have your contract and your income from your like actual residency or wherever you want to buy a property, the harder it will be for those like guys sitting at the bank like to decide. But eventually you just want to pass like a process. Like you don't even want to pass people. You just want to get those ticks in their system as like, hey, this guy is able to pay up if we give him some money. So yeah, option one, comply. Option two, collateralize. Like you can collateralize. You can use, you know, projects like Maker, Compound, Aave. You can like use your fungible liquid tokens and use them as backing of a stablecoin loan that you can get and buy property. Well, if there's like one prediction I feel fairly certain about, that's crypto is going to be volatile, like quite a lot. And it might be quite risky to actually like locking life savings to get a house without like sufficient margin to just, you know, like you're still risking like being pushed out of crypto and just basically staying with the house. Well, it's not too bad. It can happen. So what else is there that you could do? And yeah, this is where my sales pitch starts. So option 3, obviously, pawn it. So I'm going to talk a bit about pawn and what we do and what we are building towards, because we are crypto natives. We feel to be like well integrated in this community, and we feel like, hey, these are actually our issues that we have ourselves, and we don't want to do any of the non-options. We don't want to sell crypto. We don't want to get out of that system. We want to live it, and we want to build up on top of the foundations that are already there, so we don't have to go to banks for getting the same service to like compete on a real estate market. We just want to do it ourselves. Pawn is essentially a peer-to-peer lending platform where you can use any type of token, any type of standard token on Ethereum, let that be ERC20, 721, or 1155 as collateral for your loan. Essentially, like we are not using any whitelist. We are not like telling you like what assets you can use. But since it's peer-to-peer, we don't create pools. Like we don't have liquidations. You can use any arbitrary token, like any LP token, any NFT that you might want to keep. You don't have to sell that CryptoPunk for buying a new place. So yeah, Pawn today is an open lending protocol. Like we are releasing all of the contracts under GAPL. Is that how you pronounce that? Anyways, all of the contracts will of course be open source and like used for the community. We are also releasing like bunch of the multi-token like libraries that are used to basically include like any standard interface into those contracts. So anytime there is a new token standard, you can just include it in the library and like use it right away. The same way you would with like a native support. We don't have liquidation risks because we don't want to push you out of crypto. Like the loans on Pawn work more as options than like traditional pooled lending. We just like provide you with currently like very basic setup of like you either pay back before the expiration or you lose your collateral, but it's completely up to you like how long you set those durations. And it's up to the lenders to decide like what your collateral is actually worth. Because like the mortgage market already works with like certain mechanics, like the mortgage contracts are not like being kept with the deal makers. Those are being pushed to like larger treasuries in like diversified funds. And we can do the same. We can just like tokenize all of the loans, and the lenders basically have an option to quit their loans like at any moment. They can decide to provide you with some money and then decide to just like pass the opportunity on to someone else. But there is more. This is obviously this is not the full-blown like mortgage that one might need. But what we are working on is like gradual payments bound with like partial liquidations, because of course like you don't want to liquidate like your entire collateral if you just forgot like one payment. The nice thing about this is like you can actually like do it pretty easily with contracts that everyone can read, and it's not like a 20-pager document that you would need to sit on with the lawyer on. Obviously, yeah, you might still want to know a bit of solidity. We're also working on like renting and borrowing of NFTs, basically making a proxy for like standard and non-standard interfaces of those, so you can like use your collateral like even if it's locked in a vault. And then yeah, we are gradually building towards like mortgage contracts for digital assets like decentraland property or like whatever virtual reality there is. We'll be also using in contracts with the same scheme, just like additional wrappers for things like Islamic finance, like where you basically don't charge an interest on those loans. we are creating a DAO market maker because like we essentially want crypto natives to back mortgages of other crypto native people. Again, because like we are one of them, one of you, and we just want to use the same service and like then provide the same service to all of the other people. So yeah, none of us come from like a traditional finance background, and yeah, I'm using the word TradFi instead of TradFi because it's like just such a hassle to open up a bank account if you're a crypto startup. The gatekeeping is real. It's not just like a made-up thing. Like the banks are very protective of like the business that they have, and the nice thing is like we don't have to fight it. We can just like build our own stuff, and it works. And you know, you are the witnesses of like all of the great DeFi stuff that's happening in the space. So we are not worried about the gates. Like we'll just go around those. And yeah, well, you just heard what Pawn was. So if you want to learn more, just go to pawn.finance. We are hosting 2 events here in Lisbon, Proof of Work tomorrow, and then there is a just like a casual discussion and drinks with Upshot and Finance happening later this week. Stop by and yeah, just chat to us. And if you're interested to learn more or you know become someone else's like mortgage backer, please talk to us. We'll certainly be happy to see what you think. So yeah, that was it. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Oh, and sorry, please, someone incubate my egg.
Yeah.
Would you incubate my egg? Come on.
Does
I'm not
anyone
leaving.
have question? One question, maybe? Okay, just one question.
Hey, I was just interested in how does your business model for all these kind of like products work? So how are you as Pound earning money with it in a sense?
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear the question.
So how does your business model work for all these different projects?
Oh yeah. So we're basically building a platform, and currently there is no fee. Eventually, if our system works well enough and people feel like using our interface to interact with those contracts is solid enough, then we'll add a fee just to our platform. Yeah, I mean the business case is sound with the liquidity like and the size of the market currently, just on charging like a 2% fee on some of these loans.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Thanks.